How's it going, guys? Randall, aka Shizakats, here on the Tressa's Collectibles channel, and today we're going to be doing the deck profile / interviews. I guess more interviews than deck profile, but with the winning team of the Duluth, Georgia BSF. That's going to be the Good, the Bad, and the Kenny, and we're here with the Kenny. So, anything else you want to like introduce yourself? Your like tag and whatnot.
And I swear, this is not done on purpose. My tag's K-Dash, and yes, I'm well aware my name is Kenny Kong, so never pair those all together, please.
Okay, so Kenny, what deck did you play for the Duluth Regional?
I played Bangdream, mostly Ave Mujika Mygo, but with a splash of some old cards as well.
Mm-hmm. Pretty close to like the popular version of the build?
Yeah, pretty close with some adjustments to kind of play for what I felt like I would like this option better versus something else, but we can address that as we go kind of through the interview and everything else, deck profile.
Mm-hmm. So similar to the way we did the previous deck profiles for the regionals on the channel with me, Panda, and Hung, we're going to be having the deck list on screen. You guys have already been looking at it for a bit, but Kenny, are there any particular cards in the list, as there are some like some pretty unusual choices, I guess?
There are actually a couple cards in the list. Like the first one I would like to tout, and this is like probably unironically the MVP of my deck, is actually the Uika Riki. Mm-hmm. Because this not only does it search literally 50% of my deck, also just being able to potentially bounce back off of like canceling an attack and then being able to reuse it, and being an on-play Riki versus the Mocha on Death Riki, this allowed me to kind of grab any card I need on demand that was level 1 or below. The second card I felt was kind of my MVP was actually the helmet, because of just being able to blink something, and it sometimes like if I want to reset a power line or whatever, that was very strong, and also just allowed me to grab everything I need. And then honorable mention on the card for similar reasons is the one of Rika, because it let me grab namely the helmet and the Yukina whenever I needed it, or even the climax swap.
Okay, and then did you ever feel like throughout the tournament that the green was a little bit lacking because you weren't running the Mocha Riki?
No. Actually, what I would always forcibly do, because I would want to Mocha, I would want to mulligan into a good enough set to attack at 0, as well as kind of have a good level 1 turn. I'd always look for either one of the combos and clock, or even the early play healer and clock those, if I have to.
Okay. So moving on from there, how was your record at the regionals?
My overall record after Swiss and Top Cut was X2.
Mm-hmm. How many total rounds was it?
Total rounds was 9, so 7-2.
Okay.
My record out of Swiss was actually 6-1. No, sorry, 5-1, because it was we actually had like no undefeateds coming out of Swiss, because we were the last one and we lost.
One of those.
Yeah, one of those. We lost, but we still ended up first seed, so that was still kind of nifty. Just like a little thing to enjoy, not a big deal. And then the unironic part of it was that my losses didn't matter in Swiss, but it mattered in finals, because I lost in final round of Swiss and final round of Top Cut.
Okay. So total record you said was 7-2. So did you think that there was a particularly hard matchup that you had throughout the day, whether it was one of the 2 losses or even one of your wins?
So one of the 2 it was actually both of the losses. So the first one was in Swiss. It was against 8 Standby Hololive. That man was canceling and he would not die. Like I could put out, like, I full comboed him at 3 with 2 of the level 3 combo, 1 restander, and 1 of the back row. He lived everything.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, he took some damage, but he lived everything. And what was worse, when he canceled like the first attack on the combo, so I was like, I can't do anything here. Well, he didn't cancel, he just ate it. Sorry.
When you eat the combo, and when you can afford to eat the combo,
so I was
really good.
Missing damage after all of that.
Do you think that there are any particularly good matchups for this deck? I mean, it's like a pretty generalist deck. It just kind of like does its thing,
actually,
right?
Hold up. Before we get to that, let me backtrack. There was one more honorable mention of that.
Oh.
My round 3 rematch against Favorite.
Okay.
Same. We round 3, he actually got punted to 3 while I was 1. But finals, he was actually. We had a much fairer game. We had some awkward swaps, but overall, it evened out to where both of us were kind of like leveling accordingly and taking damage accordingly until the end. He also canceled
a lot.
Combo.
Oh, okay.
He canceled everything. Like he didn't die. He just canceled everything. At one point, like my restander was burning for 5 twice, and he canceled. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
But in terms of good matchups, I feel like this deck is just so overwhelmingly strong. It's good into most, if not everything.
Right.
Even including into the set mirror. The reason I worded the set mirror and not the mirror, because if it was the actual direct mirror, it would be volatile as hell. But in the set mirror, I feel like the Doloris just overall has a lot more advantage of just being able to win the chicken game of, like, you don't want to hit me and I can punt you first. And if they were playing I think it's the Tomori, and I forget the name of the red combo that clock kicks and restands.
Like Tomori and Anon.
Yeah, that one, because we can set up to ourselves, if we go to 3 first, we can kill them. If they go to 3 first, depending on how we position ourselves, we can just run everything in because we're smaller in power across the board except for our early play healer.
Yeah, and then they can't reverse anything.
Yeah, they can't reverse anything after that.
Okay, so do you think that there are any particularly bad matchups? I feel like most people would say like things like minus soul and money counter because of your...
Minus soul would be the thing. Like that's what I was actually afraid of running into. Like maybe a Miku deck because they're not going to suffer the restriction of what happened to Nino. Like they still have minus soul counter.
Right.
So that was something I was afraid of, and that would force me to side. And I may not have enough damage output like that.
Okay. Was there anything else that you were particularly afraid of running into?
Other than that, actually I was a little afraid of running into Overlord. Even though it is restricted, Overlord is still relatively strong, and I wasn't kind of able to overpower anything. And on top of that, sometimes Overlord just goes and goes, and they don't, kind of like how this deck, it just goes. So.
Okay, so you've been on this list for like quite a bit leading up to the regionals. Is there anything that you would change now after the regionals is done?
There are a couple things I would want to change, and it's think about how to fit it in. Like leading up to actually even the night before the regional, I was changing things out. One of the things I did add in was the level 1 anti-change counter.
Overlord.
This is dual Overlord, right? Although this, I would have preferred it to be the 2-1 sack anti-change counter because it would have been great into the mirror. So that I don't have to worry about the restander getting the 2 restand.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to potentially put in was maybe take out the refresh counter and put in the bouncer. Because there are still Shana matchups running around, and then also Nikkei running around with Modernia. You kind of could just bounce the Modernia in that there. So that would be some things to consider. But at the same time, the refresh counter is really solid for when I have a bad deck state and I need to go back. So it's like I have to kind of toy around with what numbers I want to drop down.
Okay, and then I guess like just one last quick question to like tack on to the end. So for English compared to JP, we do have the full suite of like restricted cards that JP would have restricted. How many times were you actually able to resolve, or how many times did you like go for the level 3 Arisa Fumio throughout the tournament?
The Arisa Fumio, there was only one time I considered going for it, and that was actually in top 4 against the Bangdream enhanced door player. But the turn I decided that I'm gonna hold it for later. Ultimately, I never ended up needing to use it, so I actually discarded it because just the game was proceeding accordingly to where like how it just I spam level 1s, play some early play healers, and then she was 2-5 and she had the unfortunate circumstance while I had 3 climaxes in a pretty compressed deck. They all ended up being in the bottom 3, so she punted me to 2-5 and I just went.
And then you sent it.
I sent it.
Yeah.
So like that was the only time I considered using it. But having the threat of the card there is nice because, like, in practice, funny enough, the times I did use it was actually in practice the night before with my teammate John. He was at most of the climaxes, and I was like, all right, let me just Fumio you.
I need to give him climaxes.
So I can do combo and win, and it actually won me the game.
Okay. So that is, I think, pretty much sums it up. Do you have any last comments or shout-outs that you would like to make?
I do. First of all, I would like to shout out Panda and John because this was one of those things we discussed like separately. of just wanting to team, whether we go out of state or somewhere, right? And that maybe the first time we team we'll do very well, and lo and behold, we won the tournament. So shout out to them, and then also like just everybody actually had their part to make sure that we did what we needed to do and won. Because like I said, I did lose in finals, and John was actually ultimately the deciding match. So that helped. I'd like to shout out Max Collectibles, which is kind of like become another one of my regular shops, and also where a lot of my buddies are, where we practice together with. And then otherwise, shout out to Tressa's for actually hosting us for this deck profile. And other than that, that's it.
All right. Thanks for this interview, and we'll see you guys with the next team member of The Good, the Bad, and the Kenny. We're not sure if it's going to be the good or the bad, but this has been the Kenny.
Yeah, and the Kenny is signing out.
All right. See you guys next time.